Final segment of the SI Sooners podcast, and we are back for our weekly segment with the Groves brothers, Tanner and Jacob. Join us every Wednesday on the SI Sooners podcast. We call it the Groves Bros, and it's exclusive to the SI Sooners podcast thanks to our good friends at Trade Pros. So the Groves Bros brought to you by Trade Pros. If you have any heating or air issues or any questions at all, just call Trade Pros at 405-639-9991. 405-639-9991. Those guys are locally owned. They're locally operated. They will fix you up. Tanner, Jacob, welcome in. Last week I started the pod with I asked you if you were staying safe in the ice and snow. Today it's 80 degrees. Welcome to Oklahoma, guys.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. No kidding.
Yeah.
So let's get started. You guys are 2-0 since we talked last week. All right. So we'll take credit for that here on the SI Sooners podcast. Give you guys a little good mojo, right? But no, you beat Oklahoma State. And then last night in the home finale, you beat West Virginia 72-59. I thought two of the team's most kind of complete performances, in my opinion, in Big 12 conference play. Number one, because you were able to close out the wins, which is what it's all about. And you did it without the heart and soul of the team, Elijah Harkless. Now, Coach Mosier talked last night, guys, about how y'all went back and watched the quote-unquote get better tape, which I love that, from the Oklahoma State game where you guys, lost that lead in the final minutes of regulation. How did watching that tape help last night, when West Virginia got close a couple of times in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely helps. We watch those get better tapes after every single game. It doesn't matter, win or lose. We can win by 50, and we'll still watch a get better tape. Because coach's philosophy is it's never going to be perfect, and we can always improve on something. So definitely watching that game film of the Oklahoma State game was big time. It kind of helped us recognize that once we kind of gain that lead and we're down in the final stretch of the game, we got to kind of stay on the gas pedal and can't play too conservative, and we just got to play solid. We'll knock down shots But I think the main thing for us was just our defense. In the final segment or whatever, we started, locking down again. I think they cut it. Their offense was kind of knocking us back. But then, that last 4 minutes, we were able to, kind of spread it out with defense and hitting some shots. And so that was kind of a key to watching that film of Oklahoma State and then coming out with the win against West Virginia.
Yeah, for sure. I think just like Tanner said, we kind of take pride in those get better clips. I mean, we watch them after every game. And I think that something this team has been we've kind of struggled with is closing out the last 8 minutes or so of the game. And so we've really kind of been focusing on that. And, all week in practice, we were working on, situations where we're up and we have to kind of fight back. We have to deal because we knew that West Virginia, if we were up on them late, then they're going to start running and jumping and pressuring us. And so we spent a lot of time in practice working on scenarios like that just to take care of the ball, kind of lengthen out possession, use the clock, and do a bunch of different things like that just to, kind of maintain the lead rather than have them go on a run and make it a ball game in the last couple minutes. And so it's really cool seeing stuff like that pay off. We watch, just like Tanner said in the Get Better tapes, we watch all kinds of stuff that we, try and implement in the next game. And so we love going back and after the game in the Get Better tapes and talking about, hey, we talked about this all week in practice and here's where we were able to get it into the game. I mean, I think that's pretty cool. And it's just, a lot of credit goes to the coaches because they kind of, spark a lot of that talk. And so that's definitely been pretty cool to see this year, and especially this week, after 2 wins.
Well, and it being the home finale too, obviously that brings senior night and all those festivities. Interesting senior class for you guys, right? It's kind of an embodiment of what you've been this year with Marvin, Ethan, Jordan coming in to have their senior night after 1 year in Norman, and Emoja, a guy who's also a transfer, maybe not his last year at Oklahoma. But what was that like for you guys, handling the emotion of that and seeing them go through that, knowing this shared experience this team has of just a ton of new faces coming in?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was cool just, the whole experience of senior night is, I've gone through a lot of them being in college for it's my 5th year now, so 5 of them. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely cool. I think it was a good send off for those guys. Just obviously go out on a bang. Last home win was great, and each one of those guys has had a significant role on our team. At some point this year. First off, Mo Gibson has been incredible shooter, incredibly consistent and solid for us, and he's been huge for us all year. And then you got Ethan, who's been a key player off the bench for us. Always comes in with a lot of energy, with a lot of spark, and he's great. And then you got Marvin, who obviously saved the day against Oklahoma State, had huge minutes, and we're gonna continue to look and rely on him down the stretch in the season. And then last, Jordan, who's been playing super great lately. Has been solid for us at point guard and really distributing the ball well, getting downhill for us, and making plays for other guys. And so those seniors have played a key role for our team, and they've been huge. And so, like I said, we were happy to send those guys out on a last win, and hopefully we can keep it going for them.
Yeah, I think in just, senior night in general, I mean, obviously it can be, an emotional night for some guys because it's, I think reality kind of sets in that, this is their last home game of their college career, and that, um, it's obviously it can be an emotional night and your whole family's there. And so kind of the pressure's on, but, I think our guys handled it great. I mean, Mo, Marvin, Jordan, Ethan, like those guys deserve, a great send off, just like they got. And so I think that was really cool to see them, with some people that they care about up there with them, and being honored before the game, and then just kind of the value they brought to the game and the value that they brought to our team all year has been pretty awesome. And so you kind of look to those older guys, the seniors, for leadership and for some playmaking because they're the veterans. They're the guys that have been through it and have played in leagues like this and against really good teams. And so they have been rock solid for us all year. And so we're lucky to have guys like them, a senior class like them, to where we kind of can look to them for pretty much any situation they've pretty much already been in. And so we look to them for a lot of leadership and energy coming off the bench, just like Tanner said. And obviously, I think they got exactly what they deserved last night, which was cool to see.
Yeah, I was curious, obviously one of those guys, Jordan, he talked about last night after the game how he had already had a full-blown senior night once at Duke because he played there for, 4 years. Obviously, you guys are both just big fans of college basketball. This week is a huge week because it's Coach K's last game at Duke on Saturday. Just curious, you guys, from afar, kind of, I don't know, any thoughts on Coach K, finally hanging up this kind of walk because he's just been around for so long. And if Jordan had ever said anything about what it was like to play for him, the last 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, obviously everybody knows Coach K. He's just such a legendary, like iconic coach. I think he still holds over like almost 1,200 wins in college basketball, which is incredible, most of all time. And so he's just a historic coach. And so I think it's going to be a sad day, definitely, to see him go. But obviously, I think it's going to be a little bit of a celebration as well, just kind of celebrating his career. And we haven't. I don't think Jordan's. We've talked to him a little bit about it. I mean, we definitely kind of talked with him what it was like, playing with Zion and some of those guys that he played with. And I remember what was the year that Coach K got so mad at his team that he stripped them of all their gear and made them work out in like white t-shirts that they were not allowed to wear anything that said Duke on it. And so that was kind of one of the stories that Jordan was telling us about, and it just got some good laughs. That's one of those things that like that it just got serious. And so that's definitely a funny memory and just something kind of crazy that I don't think I've ever heard of that anywhere. But I remember when that got out a couple years ago, and so that was definitely kind of funny to hear a little bit of insight from it from Jordan about. So that's pretty much it. But yeah, definitely it'll be cool to obviously see the recognition that Coach K gets this last home game.
Yeah, no doubt. I think Coach K is obviously, Hall of Fame coach. He's an incredible coach, Coach Duke, coach for the USA teams, and he's just Hall of Famer. There's not much more else to say, but yeah, he's legendary, man. I think that trying to think, I think just ever since I was a little kid, watching Duke grow up, they've always been like a premier program. Growing up, I think in high school, I can't remember exactly what year it was, but I remember watching when I was a big Gonzaga fan back in high school. I remember watching Duke beat Gonzaga in the NCAA tournament, and that was just heartbreaking. But Duke has always been like kind of premier program, and so they've always kind of been. I've always kind of brushed them off and like, man, I hope these guys get upset and whatnot. But that just kind of speaks volumes to how good of a program they've been. They've been at the top for years, and it's pretty cool. I've seen a lot of documentaries, a lot of different stuff about Duke and Coach K, and yeah, like I said, he's just legendary. And then yeah, I think the one I don't think it's really a story, but just speaking on Coach K a little bit from Jordan. Jordan told me that I believe Coach K comes from West Point. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's right. But but yeah, Jordan just said, speaking from that, it was kind of like Coach K was a little bit like a drill sergeant in kind of how he coached. He was like pretty strict, pretty down to business, and no messing around. But obviously whatever they were doing at Duke was working because they were obviously have been an incredible program for years, and so just kind of cool that this will be Coach K's last home game, but you can hate him, you can love him, but you got to respect his greatness.
Mm.
Now, you guys mentioned Gonzaga, Tanner. You mentioned Mark Few, maybe. The Zags there in your hometown of Spokane. You talk about a legend of the game. You talk about an icon in college basketball. It's Mark Few. Other side of the country, not as many national championships, obviously, as Duke and Coach K. But to me, Gonzaga is one of those ultimate underdog stories. Came up from kind of unexpected. Nobody really gave him any credit. But you look at the program and you look at the expectation where he's grown it to every year. It's like this now. Every year, Gonzaga, they were number one all of last year, consensus number one. They're number one again this year in the polls. Growing up in Spokane, were you guys around Coach Few much? You mentioned being a Zags fan, but were you around him much at camps or anything like that? And who were some of the coaching influences coming up through your careers?
Yeah, I mean, within Gonzaga, being from Spokane kid, Gonzaga is like the biggest thing in town, and so just in terms of Gonzaga basketball, yeah, it's been kind of cool to see, their rise to stardom and just everything that they've done as of late, and so I've been a big fan ever since I was just a little kid. My parents have been big fans since they were since they were growing up and watching Gonzaga get good. I think even before Coach Few was the head coach there, and so yeah, I mean it's kind of cool, but I don't think I've never really been around Coach Few much, so I don't really know too much about him. But just speaking on coaches growing up, I mean I think I've had a lot of influential coaches in my life that have helped my basketball game growing up. I think it starts really young, just with my dad. I think that my dad was my first coach, and he was just an incredible influence in my life. He's the one that really brought basketball into my life, and I just have so many memories being young, just having him out in the driveway with me and Jake, and just teaching us the game, teaching us how to shoot, how to dribble, and do everything. So yeah, I mean, I think out of just influential wise, my dad has been the biggest influence within basketball. And then, yeah, just growing up, he was my AAU coach, and he even coached me for a stint in high school too. And so, yeah, I just would like to speak on my dad a bit, just because it's kind of funny because we'll always get reporters asking questions about who's the best player in the family. Well, me and Jake will always say mom is and all this and that, but I gotta give that gotta give a lot of credit to my dad too for he was really the one that instilled the game in Jake and I, and taught us, and he was the first one that was really hard on us about basketball and just taught us how to be tough, how to love the game. And so I just just wanted to speak on that for a bit too.
Yeah, for me, I'd say definitely the same thing. Kind of with the going back to the Zags. I mean, I think it's hilarious now because obviously, we play at the level to where they're like a pot, like we could match up with them and actually play against them. But like in high school, obviously, I was in growing up, obviously, just a big Zags fan. Then even at Eastern Washington too, it's like obviously Eastern first and everything, but late into March, when we're not playing and the Zags are, you're kind of rooting for them and cheering for them. But now that we're at a level where we could match up against them, we could play them, we could compete with them. It's like it's kind of funny just how the tide has kind of turned. We went from like fans of them, and now we're like, it's kind of weird being like a big fan of people who are kind of on the same level as you. You know what I mean? And so it's
Yeah.
definitely been interesting just how that transition's happened. And then yeah, going off Tanner, I mean, I think that obviously our dad is just someone who's challenged us from the beginning with basketball. I mean, he was the first one that kind of made things hard on us and kind of created the self discipline that Tanner and I have just through teaching us and helping us get better so much through the game. I mean, we give mom a lot of credit for being a hooper back in her day, but I think dad gets just as much credit just because he's obviously made Tanner and I the players who we are. All the way through AAU, he coached us for, I mean, literally all of our life until we came to college. I guess he was a part of K through eighth grade basketball. YMCA he coached us, and then even he was on staff 3 of my 4 years in high school. And so, he's been a huge part of just the way that our game's developed and how we've grown. And I think just, obviously he was a former college coach. He's coached high school basketball. So he's coached at pretty much all the levels you can coach at. And so just kind of learning from him and seeing the game that he sees the game, like the same way that he sees the game has been really cool to see. And I think that, just as like IQ wise, he's been, huge in teaching us how to play, teaching us fundamentals, how to shoot, dribble. Um, and so that's been really cool. I mean, I think dad gets a lot of credit for that for sure. And so, yeah, he's been very, very influential on Tanner and I just growing up in the driveway shooting and little brother too. I mean, he works out with my little brother every night in the driveway. And he's still coaching his AAU team, and so he's been huge in not only Tanner and I, but our little brother as well. I mean, he loves coaching and he loves obviously us, and so it's really the best of both worlds when he gets to coach us and kind of help us and just grow our love for the game.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And so a guy that's influencing your game right now, right, Porter Moser, you guys have got the rest of this season, obviously, but then the eligibility to return next year. So what does that kind of look like for you guys as far as prepping for this off season, what those workouts are going to look like? And then I also got to toss this in there. Tanner, we saw last night you have that big dunk, get fouled, hit the floor, pop up. Were you popping the headband? Do we have more celebrations coming down the pipe next year as well? Is that a key part of your offseason workout regimen as well?
Well, yeah, man. I threw first poster of the season, so I had to, on your head. That's a little celebration I got going, and so had to pull that one out for the first time, I think, in a long time. So that kind of felt good, but no, in terms of the off season, I'm excited to get better. I'm excited to hit the weights hard and just become a better basketball player overall. One of my biggest things is just kind of transforming my body. I think that's going to be a huge key for me in this off season. I think that just after playing this year, definitely in Big 12, you got a lot of physical, strong guys that are going to be playing at my position, and so definitely need to get a lot stronger. I think that that's going to be the main thing for me is just change my diet and transform my body. I think just gonna try to lift 5 days a week and eat the best food I can in order to be the best product, put out the best product that I can. And then basketball wise, I need to work on a lot of things too, like ball handling and, my passing abilities, and just keep repping out my shot too. I think that if I can handle the ball a little bit better, it'll help me, especially in the offense where it's ran through the five a lot. I think that, me being able to handle the ball well will help our team and just help me in terms of skill development. And so I think that, I think I'm looking forward to this off season and making a huge jump and, coming back next year strong. And I'm just super excited. I can't wait. I think that, a lot of Hoopers love the off season, and some of them really embrace it and some of them don't. And so for me, that's going to be a huge key, is just to embrace it, take it day by day, and get better every single day.
Yeah, for sure. I think Tanner hit it. I mean, I think a lot of we'll be kind of working towards the same thing. I mean, this league is so physical, especially at the five and the four and even sometimes the three position. I mean, you got guys who are 220, 225 and just built. And so, I think a big part of this offseason is just going to be kind of changing my body, getting bigger, faster, stronger, um, and just kind of working out. And then as far as hoops goes, I think just being consistent, getting in the gym every day, continuing to work on my shot, be more consistent, obviously shooting the ball. And then I think that a lot of it for me is just comes down to guard skills, just continuing to work on, you know, dribbling, maybe coming off ball screens, passing, and just, kind of being the full package as far as being a guard goes. I think that um, I've already been kind of talking about it with some of our coaches, just, how big of an off season this is for me, and just kind of some of the goals that I have for next season and the things that I want to kind of accomplish this off season. And so I've definitely got my work cut out for me. I don't know if I'm definitely going to have to probably make some sacrifices. Not as much time on the golf course this spring. Probably not as much time fishing this spring. Probably gonna have to spend a lot of those days in the Lloyd Noble Center working on my game, and so that's fine with me. I got a lot of life left to golf in, so that's good.
Absolutely. So obviously, you guys, I'm sure you're looking forward to an off season that's going to look a lot more normal in theory, hopefully, and actually with Coach Moser the whole spring and summer and all that stuff. But to pull it back to this season, because obviously there's still meat left on the bone here. You got one more game against Kansas State on Saturday, a place that Oklahoma hasn't won in a really long time, just the program, and then also Big 12 tournament potential postseason. It feels like both you guys are playing your best basketball right now, both you guys individually. Where have you guys seen kind of an uptick in terms of what is noticeably gotten better, in the last month or so? Because like I said, it feels like, Jake, you're hitting the shots from deep, at a much higher clip. Tanner, you've led the team in points and rebounds the last couple of games. Just how do you guys keep it going? Where have you improved, and how do you continue to improve down, the last handful of games here?
I think for me, as far as just hoops goes, I think that just kind of finding my stride. I went from being kind of a role player that was playing spot minutes here and there, and then obviously EJ's season-ending injury. It's kind of one of those things where I step into the role and I'm kind of thrown into the fire, and I'm playing 30 minutes a game now, and so I think that has a lot to do with it. Just kind of finding my stride, being comfortable out there on the floor, which has been huge for me. And so I think that's huge. And then just I think my confidence throughout the past few games. Obviously, I think it started in Iowa State when I came out and I hit my first couple and shot the ball well, and then Oklahoma State I hit my first couple, and then even last night I shot it pretty well from deep. And so I think that's been really good because that's something that our team's going to need. I think that we need to be able to shoot the ball well, especially going on the road to Kansas State. Like you said, our program hasn't won there in a long time. And so huge game for us. We're excited. I know the coaches are working hard and the players are working hard as well, kind of, getting the scout ready and trying to figure out a way to win that game. And so I think just, my confidence and, just kind of getting the opportunity to play minutes and have a scoring role on this team has been definitely the make or break for me for sure.
Yeah, I'd say for me, just in terms of the team, I think that for us, I think that I can sense just in our practices and just the way we come out in games, we've been a lot more locked in, a lot more connected, especially on the defensive end. I think we call them gaps where you get 3 stops in a row, and as a team goal for a game, usually it's 7. And I think against West Virginia we had 6 in the first half, so it's like you can sense those little things starting to come together. We're really locking in on defense in practice. We're taking it serious every day, and I think it's just a matter of we know that we need to win these games, and so we're going to do everything in our power that we can in order to win these games. And at Kansas State, it's going to be a huge game. I think that I heard that Coach Kruger never even won a game at Kansas State while he was
Yeah,
here, which
crazy.
is crazy. And so it's going to be on their senior night too, and so it's going to be a huge game. The crowd's going to be rocking. And I think that's going to be, that's going to be a fun environment, and we're looking forward to the challenge. We can't wait because, right now in terms of the season where we stand, our backs against the wall a little bit, and people are counting us out, but we love that we kind of are in this position because we got nothing to lose, and so we're just we're trying to win all these games, and so we can't wait. We're looking forward to the challenge on Saturday. And then in terms of me, I think that my physicality has been great. Coach always speaks on that a lot, and I think that when I'm able to rebound the basketball, it kind of gets me going. Doesn't matter if I'm scoring the points offensively, but when I'm rebounding the ball and playing good defense, then I have the confidence. Coaches give me confidence to keep going, and then by the end of that game against West Virginia, I don't even know how many points I had, but then I went on a little run and started knocking down shots and kind of turned it around a little bit and ended up with a double-double. And so that's been huge. I just think I got to continue to be physical, continue to play great defense, and continue to rebound the ball, and then the scoring will come naturally. But yeah, like I said, Saturday is going to be huge. We're looking forward to the Big 12 tournament as well. And, once we get there, anything can happen. Literally anything can happen. We have 4 top 15 wins. We can get a couple more. You never know. And so we're definitely looking forward to the next couple weeks of basketball in March.
Well, Tanner and Jacob, you said it best right there. 1 game left in the regular season. I can't believe how fast it's gone. Saturday at Kansas State, and then the Big 12 tournament right around the corner next week. Next week is the Big 12 tournament. And then we'll see what's after that. Can you believe how fast it's gone your first year here?
It's crazy. It's crazy how quick it's gone. It's nuts. It just seems like yesterday we were catching our first flight down to Norman for the first time in June. So, yeah, it's crazy.
Well, thanks again to Trade Pros for sponsoring the Groves Bros on the SI Sooners podcast. You need to give those guys a call, 405-639-9991 for all your heating and air needs, or just go to tradeprosokc.com. Don't forget to be back here next Wednesday now as Tanner and Jacob join us for another exclusive segment with the Groves Bros. As always, you can listen to that one and all episodes of the SI Sooners podcast on iTunes, Spotify, Google, iHeart, wherever you get your podcasts, or if you have an Amazon-enabled device, just say, Alexa, play the SI Sooners podcast. Go to our website, allsooners.com. You'll find it there. Click on the player, listen on your phone, your tablet, or your computer. And, of course, we simulcast the video version over on my YouTube channel, John Hoover Media. We'd appreciate it if you guys like, comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Obviously, that helps us out a lot. For Josh Calloway, for Ryan Chapman, and, of course, the Groves Bros, Tanner and Jacob, I'm John Hoover. See you guys.